but it looks like she's joined the meeting.
I'm here.
Okay. Excellent. Well, let's get started, folks. I'm sorry. I was just trying to check. My webcam is not being recognized by GoToMeeting. I'm not sure why that is the case, but I'm okay with going with a voice meeting if everybody else is.
Yes. Well, just yes.
If you would do the roll call.
Okay. Delicio?
Present.
Remington?
Oh, hi.
Remington? She's here. I can see her. Rogan?
Here.
And Smith?
Here. Excellent. Item 2 on our agenda, any public comments or any items not listed on the agenda. Now would be the time for those. Hearing none, we'll move on to the third item of business, which is approval of the minutes from our May 13th meeting. Those minutes were distributed earlier this week by Georgie, and thank you, Georgie.
Certainly.
Any comments on those minutes? Hearing none, seeking a motion to approve those minutes.
I motion to approve.
Thank you, Shannon. Do we have a second?
Jean.
Thank you, Jean. All in favor of approval of the minutes of May 13, 2020, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have been accepted. Item 4, it's time for new business. And I understand, Jonathan, you're on the line.
Yes, sir.
Hey, nice to meet you. So it's my understanding that you have submitted a citizen interest form, and that has been distributed to all of us. We take this opportunity as the Historic Preservation Committee here in Trinidad just to kind of throw some questions at you, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. If it's okay with you, you go on mute until speaking. It sounds like there's traffic in your background.
Not on my end.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, no, it was Shannon. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. It's very noisy, yes.
Yes. So, folks, if you want to check out it's in your email, that citizen interest form. Jonathan, my biggest question, I actually lived in Vermont for 20 years, all over the state, so that's super cool. We have that connection. You were in Vermont and Maine, huh?
Yeah. I didn't live in Vermont, but I had clients that lived all over the country. So basically, wherever they lived, I'd travel for work with them too. So I had a couple cool projects out there over the years.
Nice. Were you based in Maine?
Yes. Yep. I was based in Ellsworth. I basically worked out of Ellsworth for 25 years.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Excellent. It's just so cool to have that regional connection all the way out here in Trinidad. So how long have you been in Trinidad?
June 22nd will be 2 years now. So
nice.
Coming up on it. Yeah. Love it here.
Right on. We'll go around the virtual table. If other commissioners have a question or two based on your interest form.
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, I'm looking at this form and it says historical display. Oh, it looks like Rand Woodshop building historical displays. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, sure. Me and my brother ran an internet company for 20 years, and basically we built shadow boxes, military display cases. So basically anybody retiring from the military, all branches, would basically contact us, and we would do all the custom work and do the mounting of jackets or flags, or I've had shrapnel and had parts from the Constitution sent to me, and the Berlin Wall, and crazy stuff from all over the world. So it's been a pleasure by all means.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Do you have any?
So what are you doing now in Trinidad?
I'm opening up my wood shop, cabinet shop. So I just got licensed now, so I can start working. So I'm actually looking for realty in town, so I can start displaying my stuff and put a little office in there for myself.
Nice.
So you like Trinidad, and how does the historical preservation help us entice economic development, do you think?
That's a good question. You kind of got me off that one. Can you repeat the question again?
How does the historical preservation of our culture and our buildings help entice economic development, do you think?
Gosh, I won't answer that. I don't know about the economic development, but I think that it's important to preserve history on a lot of different levels, and that's basically where my passion is kind of restoring or preserving those things, so the next generation or generations to follow actually have something to look back on and realize maybe they have it a little easier than the other generations did. So
that's a good answer.
Thank you, Jonathan. Other questions from the commissioners? You must have worked on a couple historic houses back in New England, or maybe even around here.
Yep, I worked on the John Quincy Adams estate in Quincy, Mass. That was like a 6-month project. And then I worked at the Natick Army base doing water. There was a water filtration plant. So I've got a lot of construction, so it tends to kind of go into wherever I'm needed is kind of where I always ended up. So,
That's awesome. I'm super glad I asked that question. There's many, as you know, a lot of historic buildings here in town, and
yes.
many of them, the plan is getting created, or the plan is created, and the execution, you got to get X, Y, and Z in the row. And I'm really thankful for your on-the-ground experience, especially working in, what'd you say, the John Quincy Adams estate?
Yes. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that.
Yeah,
thank you.
That was probably in like 2007, 2005. So that was a long time ago. A lot of these projects were decades ago now, but
sure. Awesome. Any other questions from the group?
Chairman, can I ask you to ask Shannon directly? Her mic is muted, and I'm not sure if she had some questions.
Shannon.
Trying to unmute.
Hey.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Yes. So what was the appeal of Trinidad that brought you here?
my brother actually come up, looked at the land, fell in love with it. I was still living in Maine. I went down to visit for the winter, and he brought me up here, and I brought my girlfriend out, and she fell in love with it too, and she decided we're gonna sell the house in Maine and move out here, and we both that's basically what we did. So we're here now. We're in Honey, but my wife works up to the hospital there, and and I worked on this city project when I first got here. They were hiring for a PMI, that was your water and gas and electric meters. So I had worked on that project originally, which got me to meet tons and hundreds of people over the months. And I really fell in love with the town once I got to meet the people and realized, it's a quaint little town, and it's just like every other town in America, except it's got its own historical thing about it. That's what kind of draws me to it, is the underground, doing that, and just knowing some of the history that was here. And I can't wait to learn more because I've only been here 2 years, so this is all still new to me.
Excellent. Thank you. Shannon, Jana, Gene, anyone else questions?
None
I
for
was
me.
just, Shannon asked my last question, I think.
Okay.
Excellent. And Jonathan, I just want to be clear, your citizen interest form indicates an Arizona Avenue address, so you are a resident of the city?
I'm probably just a resident of the county, but yeah, I'm registered to vote in the county. So.
Okay. Great. Thank you. And last call. Any questions here? Jonathan, I really appreciate your time, and I hope our paths cross outside of this venue.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. Yeah, I look
Can you
forward
leave
to
an
it.
email or telephone? Can you leave an email or telephone number too? Or is it on the interest? That's right. It's on the interest sheet.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to get a hold of me, either way, if I don't have your numbers, then it's probably just best to shoot me a text, let me know who you are, and then I'll answer your call. But generally, just leave me a message and I'll get back to you. And I've got my email, but I only check that about once a day.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, with that, Jonathan, again, thank you for your time. We're going to get through our last agenda items here, but I really appreciate you.
I
Chairman?
appreciate you guys taking the time. Do I stay on with the meeting, or
Yes.
do I close out?
No, please stay on. Chairman, if you can ask for a motion to make a recommendation to City Council.
Sure.
I'll move.
Or I'll accept any motions from the group. Did I hear something?
I'll make a motion to approve his nomination to go forward to City Council or the commission. Is that all I need to say?
I'll
That's
second that.
Excellent.
I
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor of recommending to City Council Jonathan's nomination to this commission, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, yeah. Any opposed? Well, so be it. Congratulations, Jonathan. I hope that, I believe the next City Council meeting is next week. Georgie, I'm not sure if they can fit that in, or...
Yes, I'll get with Audra Garrett and I'll write up the recommendation from the Historic Preservation Commission, get with her, and then I'll get with you and let you know how soon they can get that on the agenda. Okay?
Very
Awesome.
thank you.
But please feel free to stay with us during the meeting if you'd like. It probably will be a fairly short meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll stay with everybody through it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jim.
Thank you. So, agenda item 5, unfinished business, we have none. Item number 6, chairman's report. Pardon me, Georgie, did I miss anything on unfinished business? I know it says none, but I don't want to assume.
No, I didn't have any at this
Cool.
time.
Chairman's report, I have no report. However, I do have a note. We are all very interested in history and community, and nationwide, communities are being challenged to preserve their history in new ways. Monuments are coming down, and groups like ourselves are facing all kinds of challenges. We don't face any of those here in Trinidad at the moment, but as we all are commissioners on the Historic Preservation Commission, I would just encourage us all to stay tuned into how those things are happening in other communities, because I think it's just fascinating. And we will do better work if we understand how other communities are working, right? Maybe?
Yep.
That's my chairman's report. I won't ever take the opportunity to not say it. And now your chance, commissioners' reports.
None for me.
None for me.
Cool. And now on to agenda item number 8, Planning Administrator's Report.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. I just have a couple items. I wanted to let you know in regard to our grant from History Colorado for our survey plan. Of course, we were awarded that, but we can't proceed until they receive funding. So I did get the notice to proceed, and the city has entered into a contract with the consultants who will be preparing that survey plan for us. And just to let Jonathan know a little bit of the background, we received a $25,000 grant from History Colorado, and they're known as the State Historic Preservation Office. And they're connected with the National Park Service and the Department of Interior. So we're a certified local government that works in partnership through the National Park Service and the Department of Interior to protect historic resources. So one of our first big projects was to undertake this survey plan where the consultants will take an overall look at what information has been obtained in the past. They'll look at the whole town citywide and prioritize what they think we should focus on. One of our requirements is to survey historic resources. So there may be certain areas of town that they identify as they think that this area we really ought to focus on, and do surveys, more intensive surveys in that area. It'll probably take about a year to complete this work for the survey plan, but we're under contract with the consultants, so we're going to start moving forward on that. And I just wanted to let you all know of that.
Great.
And then the second item was I got a little bit of an update on the budget. So the first quarter marijuana money, as you know, the city council has utilized that to assist businesses that had to close during the COVID pandemic. And the second quarter funds, they will know about those towards the end of July. And if the businesses don't have to shut down again, that's when city council will start looking at the different requests from the boards and commissions. So it's still up in the air, but let's all hope things don't get any worse again. And maybe we'll get the funding. Sometime, we'll know, maybe sometime in August. And that was really all I had, unless there's any questions for me from the commission.
Well, the question is, we are not going forward with planning the festival, probably for this year, because all
not if we're going to receive the funding potentially in August.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the legwork in and then find out we don't get the money or we do get the money. I would love to say spring 2021. It's very common for municipalities and organizations to be thinking about next year instead of hoping for the best for this year. So let's imagine, Jonathan, since you're on the line, I'll clue you in. We asked the city council for some money specifically to do a historic preservation festival. We imagined some walking tours and some speakers, and we were thinking about early September. And I think at this time it's probably worth our while to think about late May, maybe prior to Memorial Day or after Memorial Day 2021, and do a bang up job then. If that strikes the group, I'm okay with that.
Yes, and considering the health department still has regulations prohibiting large gathering, and we have no idea when that will open up. So I think it's a very good idea to really focus on next year. Some of those budget items, I don't have a copy of the budget with me right now, but I think, it's possible that some of those budget items will be awarded to us if the COVID virus or pandemic doesn't get worse. So let's be hopeful of some of those things we requested for.
can I ask a question on
Sure.
this? Or now, what is that? Is this going to be like your first one of these events for that?
Yes, Jonathan, bit of history. Trinidad's got a lot of great history. History Museum, Historic Preservation Commission, Historic Society. And it was our intention to kind of spearhead an effort where all of these groups get to participate, but also we, the Historic Preservation Commission, kind of start to frame historic preservation as an activity as a good thing, right?
Yeah. Interactive?
What's that?
Would it be interactive?
Oh yeah. We were thinking about an in-person event. Some guest speakers that would be open to the public, and then an afternoon of tours throughout town.
That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we asked for money for, because there are still some folks in town that need to understand better why historic preservation is good all around. And also, we established our landmarking status. So if you want to have your house landmarked, not only is there tax benefit, but there's something really cool about the more we do that here in Trinidad. So those, is kind of a public information gathering festival idea. And it definitely can happen. I mean, we could try something virtually, but I'd just rather start thinking about that for spring.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that'd be great. I'd open it up.
And I'm hopeful before too long we will be able to hold meetings in person. I think we can accomplish a lot more in person and throw ideas back and forth, and then get some details on those plans together. So
I agree. And next year is going to be the big celebration of the Santa Fe Trail. I know Rotary's going to be involved with that, and probably lots of other groups. So we might be able to interface with them.
I do have one question to Georgie. If we can get an update on the Space to Create sometime.
okay,
They might
now
allow.
I have very little knowledge of that. I do know that they have put out the application for rentals there. They have a website. I imagine if you go to Space to Create, it
Right.
might be under Art Space, but they are accepting applications. I saw some on their site. They had some very basic apartment layouts, but it's coming along. Obviously they still have more work to do. They're not.
Well, Jonathan should realize that those 3 buildings were historically preserved because of Tara. What was Tara's last name? Tara Marsh. They went through the whole historical preservation process with those 3 buildings on Main Street, and it was quite a comprehensive study about their design. And we were very thankful to Tara and all the collaboration she built and the mayor too. He actually funded a lot and got the initial funding for all that $18 million on preserving those 3 buildings to where they were before.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great. I can't wait to learn what the history is, because I've often kind of wondered what those buildings were originally. So.
And there'll be a portion of that's the city community area too. So the city will have a section of that building to do community events. I know they intend to put the economic development coordinator will be housed in there, and the creative district is working really closely on that project. So it's been a major undertaking, and I don't think it would have happened without Miss Marshall being involved, but there were entities from History Colorado, the Betcher Foundation, housing funds were contributed to that. There were a lot of different entities involved in pulling off that project. It was a major undertaking, but that was a project that the governor started, and he made Trinidad the demonstration site. He wanted to create economic development in the rural communities of Colorado. And he picked Trinidad, which this was Governor Hickenlooper when he was in as governor. He's the one that designated Trinidad to be the test site, if you will, the initial site. And we were really thrilled about it, but it was a lot of work for a lot of people. And
so did he pick Trinidad as the first one, as like the pilot program for the state?
Yes, under the new program he did. Now there was a project up in Loveland. I don't think it was like backed by the state. It preceded ours, but this is the first one under the governor's initiative.
Great.
So I know they're planning them in other communities around the state to stimulate economic development, because historic preservation is very much an economic development tool. When you restore a historic structure, there's all the construction involved, creating all those jobs, and then adaptive reuse of a historic structure. And then it leads to tourism interests. There's a lot of benefits to historic preservation in regard to economic development. So
I can't wait to learn more about it.
yeah. And we're all still learning. I want to point that out. The Historic Preservation Commission is, I guess it's 3 years now that since council first passed the ordinance that created the Historic Preservation Commission. And we've done a few things. We're trying to teach ourselves as we go here and make sure we comply with the requirements of a certified local government. That certified local government gives us the authority to locally landmark individual properties here that the chairman was speaking of. And so we developed our process for application with that. We've only landmarked one building so far. We started with the Carnegie Library because it's city owned, and we wanted to go through our process, work out any kinks if we needed to. We would have an example of a complete application to show people interested in that. And then also to basically make the statement that the city, believes in this program. So we landmarked the Carnegie Library. We are, as staff, I'm working with a couple of the different applicants to finalize applications. So we will be holding public hearings down the road. And like I say, we're just developing this program. So we've got a long way to go. We're really glad you're interested in being a part of it.
I'm excited, and thank everybody for sucking me in, and hopefully I can't wait to get going with this. See what this leads to down the road.
Yes, glad to have you.
Thank you.
Any other pieces of business in the planning administrator's report?
No, that was all I had, Chairman.
Well, thank you. Thank you all. I will accept a motion to adjourn, hearing no other pieces of business.
So moved.
So moved. Any seconds?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you again, folks. This is awesome work, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay, thank you, Christopher.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.